Lou Thesz faithfully defended his world heavyweight championship.
Rogers strut. Kowalski's got him right where he wants him.
Dory Funk Jr. wanting that World Heavyweight Championship.
10 pounds of pure gold.
Simon Felder's Dusty Rhodes has just become the World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion.
Presenting the greatest organization in wrestling history.
We always deliver on our promises at the National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, but pretty hard, and look at what are you going to work now? Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of NWA, The Dynasty. We had a pretty good show. I was pretty happy with it. I think it was one of our best. Actually, it might have literally been the best or tied for the best. Yeah, it was. 65. Really good show. Great main event. Not that shocking. You know, we screwed up the actual the mechanics of the DQ, because I always forget and I always screw up who's supposed to win. I don't know why, because it's so obvious, but just when you're in the moment and you're just kind of booking it, sometimes you just kind of forget to inverse the interference. It's a problem for me. I'm like DQ dyslexic, where just for some reason in my head it doesn't work right when I try to set it up. But regardless, it doesn't really matter. We had a pretty good show. Really happy with it. We have one person coming in. The Butcher is in. The Blade is not. We are going to be looking for some teams. I had mentioned looking for more teams. We certainly have some, but like Rock and Roll Express, honestly, I'm probably going to let go. They might be. They're just not doing much for us. We are going to have a great culling at some point here, and get rid of some talent that we're just not using or isn't really useful to us. So that is going to happen. With that, we're going to add some teams, but we're going to add that because after this pay-per-view, because we have the Crockett Cup next month. So we have an opportunity here to bring in some new talent. Some of the Crockett Cup members will be people that are not part of the NWA, and others will be ones that we will sign up. So we're going to be looking out for that. Some people have already been giving me suggestions in the comments. We're going to be kind of looking for more of them as we kind of find some people that would be interesting to challenge and bring in. So that's sort of the plan, and that's what we're going to be kind of doing going forward. In terms of all this red here, we have 1 month left for Fight. And then we have our broadcast deal is being over with IWTV. I have made a decision. Will I regret it? I don't know. But I was looking at our financials, just looking at where we're at, to give us a ballpark here. We have a $10,000 average. Well, actually a little less than $10,000 average. Our average is actually closer to about like $9,000 in broadcast revenue. It's not a lot. Pay-per-views are minimal, especially on months that you forget to book the freaking pay-per-view. But we're getting about $10,000 the months that we do a pay-per-view. So, you know, I was thinking about what's more important at this point. I as long as I get a slightly more nominal increase in the revenue, I'll take the hit. We still have a large amount of capital, so I'm not that concerned about the money yet. But we are losing a lot, and it will become a problem eventually. And then we'll have to address it. So looking at who is offering us deals, I feel like ultimately was not a hard decision to make. We have the Twin Cities, WCW 23, which we're not going to book on. It's not even, it only covers the Midwest. It's not even an area that we're working in. If we had deals that were not exclusive, we might have looked at it. We could stick with Fight, or we could stick with IWTV, I should say. They're tiny. They're pro us. There's a lot of companies that are already on here, and that impacts us a little bit. We have Mav TV, which is also tiny, but is a much larger company because it's a commercial cable network, which means we would get more revenue, maybe slightly less eyes, but probably more eyes than a internet subscription channel. But they want us to change everything. First of all, they're against wrestling. They don't want us to run a 2-hour show. They want us to only run a 1-hour show. So we would have to completely upend our booking for the show. We can go to Twitch, which is free to air, which means we make no money. We go to YouTube, same situation, free to air, with a lot of other shows already on there. I think the decision's obvious. We're going to go with Fight TV. They're very small, which means they are bigger than MAV and IWTV. They're internet subscription, which means we're going to get minimal money. We're going to get money based on our fans. So we were probably going to make less money than we would on MAV TV. But we will make probably more money than we would on IWTV. And they have less competition on the network because only NWA is there. And they're highly pro wrestling. They're very high risk, means we can do whatever we want, even though we're NWA, we're probably not going to do that much. And they do not care about our length. So they will let us run a 2-hour show. They are only on demand. So there is no time slot, which is a bummer, which means that we can't really do much with it. And we could jack up our, looks like 55%. We could go and actually 60% looks like. We could go and pay $3,700 per show, but I don't think that's worth it. I doubt that we would make that money per show. So my gut says with this deal, instead of making $8,500 to $9,000 a month, we might make like $13,000 a month. It's not going to solve our problems with with financials, but I think it's a better deal than sticking on MAV. I think we stick to just a 3-month deal, and that will give us time to jump to a new ship if a new opportunity that's more inclined for our needs and is in a better position financially. We could kind of jump there and make that transition easily. I think this is the deal. They're happy with the terms. We're head-to-head analysis not available because it's on demand. So, we don't know what our competition's going to be. Won't really be any because people just watch it when they're ready to watch it. Our expected requirement is way lower than what we are. I think this is the deal. So I'm going to make the deal. I think that's fine. And then our pay-per-views will be on regular Fight, and our TV show is going to be on the subscription service. And that's what we're going to do. So we'll check in on that in a month or so after we finish up our final month on IWTV, and we'll see how it goes. It literally can't be worse. Even if it's a lateral move, I think it'll be a slight upgrade just because of the install base. So overall, worst comes to worst, we're in the same position we were in 3 months, and then we'll look at it. And then if we need to, we can bite the bullet on MAV. I think MAV is a mistake for us. I think lowering the amount of time that we're going to be booking is going to make things more complicated. It's going to make more people angry. Everything's bad about it. So I would rather run to 2 hours personally, and I think that's what we're going to do. Anyways, that is it. We are going to get over to our next episode of Worldwide, so let's mosey on over to skip to 6 more days. Okay, we are back. We gotta remember to set the right studio. Boop, boop, boop. Done. 246 fans expected at this show, which is very good. We're going to be sticking in the Southeast, continuing to just hammer in our regional area. Let's go ahead and take a look here. We have backstage incident involving Arn Anderson. Hopefully, again, just helping the locker room. Yep, giving a little lift. Give great free drinks to everybody. What a nice guy. Oh, that's interesting. Incident involving Eddie Kingston and Ricky Morton. I'm always scared when Eddie Kingston's involved. Let's see what this is. Kingston was brought to wrestler's court accused of failing to pick up his share of a tab of a rental car. The judge, Ricky Morton, has found him guilty and sentenced him to pay full cost. I'm sure Eddie now has a lifelong vendetta against him, though he has a positive impact for this, so not bad. We're going to go ahead and do it open for him again. Just let the people that are a little upset air their grievances. Hopefully that clears it up for them. And yeah, we are set to go. So let's go ahead, let's book this show, and I'll catch you guys on the flip. All right, guys, we are back. Only 122 minutes, a little bit short, couple minutes short than normally what we do. We normally go right to the buzzer, but I think we have pretty much everything we need for a go-home show. So we're going to go ahead and run it. We do have 2 pre-show matches, and let's go ahead and let's see what we have. Starting off, we have Lance NOI and Leland Race. It had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat. Lance NOI defeats Leland Race in 11 minutes by pinfall with a wild Samoan splash. Yeah, not much to say about it. Lance actually is not horrible in here, 35, but Leland Race is not great. 23, also off his game. So, not good. Again, kind of feeling out some of our undercard and seeing where they stack with each other, looking for bonuses, and giving them something to do as we kind of try to build them up. Similarly, we have the Order, part of Cody's Dynasty, who they do okay here, actually. 41, 40, they're not looking too bad, all things considered. We put them against the Rock and Roll Express, or sort of a legacy team, who I think we're probably going to be done with. I think we have one for road agent work, but I think we can let them go. They've served their purpose, and honestly, they're not putting out work that really is beneficial to us in any capacity, other than just being a legacy team. They lose this match 10 minutes, or the Order defeat them. We give Ray Knight the pinfall here, gives him a zebra crossing. It's okay. Honestly, the Knights, if we put them in a match with another team, actually could do pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with that. We would like to continue to build them up a little bit, and kind of build up their popularity in America, which is probably the thing that's holding them back the most right now. Start the show off with a sort of a TV video here, and it's just stating that tonight we're going to have Cody, Zayn, and Steen all agree, sit down for a contract signing, because we're going to have a triple threat match. It's been determined Dustin wants a triple threat match here. So we're just kind of calling it out for the audience to let them know that that's going to be at the end of the show. Get to 69. Nice. Pretty good here. And yeah, not much to say about it other than a good way to start the show off with just a little quick vignette. Our first match is Bobby Roode versus Warhorse. It's about to have great wrestling, good heat. Not much to say about it other than that. Bobby Roode defeats Warhorse in 12 minutes and 30 seconds by pinfall with a payoff. Warhorse looking great, weirdly enough. Has not looked great often here, but seemed like he looked good here. 56. Bobby has a 60, gets us a 51. Very good. Not much to say about it other than that, but a very good showing from both competitors, and Bobby obviously taking the win here. Afterwards, Bobby Roode grabs a microphone, and he's shown up a few times, but he hasn't really talked yet. We don't really have an idea why he's here. And he gets a little bit of a moment to kind of talk through to the audience, as which we find out that he's definitely a arrogant asshole. He says that Bobby Roode is back in the NWA, and it is glorious. He gloats. Obviously, he's recollecting off after being a former NWA tag champion in TNA, which technically was the NWA. So I guess that's why he thinks he is back. But why? Well, I'll be honest, I'm here for myself. here for that glory and that money and the fame and all that fun stuff. But also, I'm here to help the younger generation. You know, a bunch of real, like, snot-nosed, entitled, selfish little Gen Z pricks. Much like this audience. A group that needs to learn a lesson. Learn some humility. Like, you know, one of my new adoring fans. He points to the entranceway where he's observing Tim Storm Jr., who he first interrupted, and now Tim Storm's been kind of eyeballing him. You know, Tim Storm's Mr. Tough Guy, wants to go it alone, and broke away from his mentor. And Bobby Roode's kind of calling him out now. Says, Stormy boy, I've watched you closely. Honestly, you remind me a bit of myself, and maybe a bit of my old tag partner of mine as well. But, you know, you've got a lot to learn, pal. Storm Jr. grabs a mic, and he kind of squeakishly says that he's not interested in learning from him or anybody else. He doesn't need anybody anymore. He's going his own way. He's learning from, you know, each match. He doesn't need somebody to tell him what to do. Rhodes offers to see what he's capable of then, and offers him a challenge at Codymania, put him to the test, which Tim Storm accepts. So we have now a match between Bobby Roode and Tim Storm Jr. Bobby Roode kind of looking to be almost like offering a mentorship to Tim Storm Jr. Sees a little bit of himself in him, sees a little bit of maybe James Storms in him, and it kind of wants to foster that. But it's all, obviously, it's all for his own ego. You know, Bobby's back. He thinks he's better than everybody else. He wants the show him up, but obviously he wants to build that sort of mentorship. So he has something to exploit, right? Tim Storm Jr. thinks he's much more independent than he is way in the deep end, and is about to jump into the pool without floaties for the first time. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. This gets a 57. It's pretty good. We have a match between Ramona Riot and Camille. It's a decent match. Ramona Riot beats Camille in 9 minutes. Pinfall gives her a destination unknown. Yeah, overall ratings poor, but that's because of Camille. Doesn't do very well. She has a 34. Ramona Riot has a 56. Got the crowd hotter, though. Gives Ramona a win as she moves in towards her challenge for the pay-per-view. Afterwards, of course, we have a little bit of a stare-off where Allison Kay holding up the belt, staring down at the ramp, lifting it up, gloating, kind of challenging Ramona of like, come and take it. Other people have tried. You think you're different. You're not. We gain heat for the story. People want to see this fight. People believe in Ramona. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. Overall gets a 56. Pretty good. We got the New Horsemen versus Breeze and Sleaze. Just an exhibition match because we do have a number one contendership challenge. So obviously the New Horsemen are going to be facing the Killer Elite Squad at the pay-per-view. But in the meantime, they have another challenge. Breeze and Sleaze want to show what they can do. Unfortunately, Breeze and Sleaze lose in 14 minutes. Brock Anderson pins Matthias Breeze with a spike pile driver. Brock, actually, the weak link here, struggling to keep up. Matthias, Zicky, and Pillman all within the mid-50s. Brock here at a 38. Which, you know, again, we're trying to build him up, but we're maybe running into the limits of what he's capable of. Gets a 54, though, overall. Pretty good. He is building in popularity very well. Pillman's back to major star. So overall, this tag team has been very successful for them. Even if the Brock Anderson experiment doesn't get him to where I want him to get, which is like a strong upper mid-carder. You know, we still use it as a good platform for Pillman Jr., I think. It's been fun to see them tag, so I'm happy with it overall. Afterwards, obviously, Killer Elite Squad's been watching closely, and they jump on post-match. They brutalize the New Horsemen. They beat up his dad, or beat up their dad. They beat up Brock's dad. Brian Pillman, apparently adopted son of Art Anderson now. But they brutalize them, leave them, and basically kind of calling out that we are going to completely wreck you at the pay-per-view, kids. We actually lose some heat for the segment. It doesn't do as well as previous ones, so we lost a little bit of heat for the storyline. Gets 56 though. It's not too bad. Afterwards, we have Colt Cabana, who we haven't seen in a while, in a comedy match to kind of cool the crowd down a little bit, give them a bit of a breather. Colt Cabana defeats Aaron Solo in 8 minutes by submission, or the inverted Boston Crab. It's a bit of a comedy act. Colt Cabana's chuckling it up out there and doing his whole thing. Gets a 43, not too bad. Afterwards, Colt is in the ring, and after the match, the lights flicker off and turn back on. No one knows why. He looks confused and just laughs it off as technical issues. He enjoyed kind of improving his reaction out there, apparently. It does pretty well at 57, so very good there. We have our first field interview with a new hire here. We have Kathy Kelly, who was free to be a interviewer for us. She stands backstage with NWA television champion Ricky Starks and asks him what his feelings are about having to face Jacob Fatu, who's in a dominant streak right now. And Ricky says that he's just not concerned about Fatu. He says he may be bigger, he may be stronger, but he's beaten him before. He's seen his weaknesses in the Strongbow tournament, and he knows how to exploit them. Nick Aldis walks in, and the two of them have kind of formed a bit of a friendship, and he pats Ricky on the back and tells Kathy, you see, Kathy, the thing about Fatu is, he's ultimately an island. Yeah, he's tough and he's strong, but he's all alone. Ricky has friends to watch his back. He has his fans to feed him their energy when he needs it. Fatu has nothing. That's the secret in this business that people forget. That no matter how strong you are, no matter how tough, in order to really succeed, you need friendships. You need family. Ricky is retaining. I guarantee it. So, Nick Aldis has had this weird bond between Ricky and him as they kind of form a kinship here because of the struggles of the tournament. They both have a goal in mind, obviously, which is to eventually be world's champion again. The two will probably have a challenge amongst each other as a television champion, but it would probably be a very friendly show of sport because they have each other's back at this point. And, Nick Aldis saying that Fatu can't win unless, he's got support, because Ricky feeds off of that crowd, and that Nick is going to have a watchful eye to make sure Fatu doesn't do anything, untoward. So, interesting. This segment does a little bit weaker than I kind of thought. I think a lot of that has to do with Nick Aldis, who's a little bit weaker on the microphone. But we do have a new interviewer here. We don't really need it for Ricky, but she's going to be very helpful when we have people like a Brock Anderson or Tim Storm Jr., who struggles a little bit in these segments, and she can kind of guide them and give them a bit of a boost. So I'm happy about it. I've been needing a good interviewer for a while, and I realized Kathy Kelly was free. She was unemployed. So good opportunity to pick up a staff member, I think. We have Delilah Doom versus Kylie Ray, or Delilah Doom and Kylie Ray versus King Kodakai and Kimberly. Again, kind of building up that Kimberly-Delilah Doom story, which we kind of need to end. Delilah Doom, now healthy, defeats Kodakai and Kimberly. We give Delilah Doom the win, hoping to try to build her up a little bit more. Again, we're stuck at like a 36 here. She's struggling. Our hope is that we can kind of build them up here. This was a cool down match. I wasn't sure if the comedy act would successfully cool them down. So that kind of hurt us a little bit because it was another 2 slow-paced matches, which kind of hurt the situation. But overall, 45 is not terrible. Delilah Doom gets a win as we kind of build up this storyline and continue to kind of develop it. Afterwards, we have Kodakai and Kimberly attacking Kylie Ray, just being mean. And Delilah Doom, now healthy, hulks out and freaks out, shocks both of them as she kind of just attacks Kimberly, levels her, attacks Kota Kai, levels her. Seems like that mean streak in Delilah kind of finally switched the switch kind of flipped there, and she was able to kind of defend her friend Kylie. Kimberly obviously looking particularly shocked because she's going to be going into a match with her, and is shocked by what we saw there. Unfortunately, we lose heat for the story, and Kota Kai did a good job improvising. We need to give something good for Kota Kai to do, which I think we're going to kind of focus on after the pay-per-view. We got Eddie Kingston versus Juice Robinson. Another match, another low-down cheating move. You know, the two of them have been just really going at it. Unfortunately, this match does not do very well because it was poorly paced. We needed a rowdy crowd. We cooled them down too much. I really should have had something to work the crowd back up. But it had great wrestling. It had good heat. Ultimately, Juice defeats Eddie once again with a handful of tights. Juice just keeps on cheating, pissing off Eddie Kingston further. Kingston had a 64. Juice had a 55. We advance the storyline, gives us a 56. Afterwards, Eddie is angry, grabs a microphone, and offers a challenge. Basically says, you want to mess with me, you want to bend the rules, we're going to a place where there is no rules. Codymania street fight. Juice doesn't look super amused by that, but Eddie's calling it out, saying he is going to bring him to where Juice doesn't want to go, right? Juice likes playing in the realm of rules where he can break them and the other person can't. Now we're going to go to a realm where there are no rules to be broken. So that's definitely Eddie's domain, right? Eddie has that fighting spirit. He wants to play by the rules where there are none, but you put him in an environment where he could just wallop you. It's certainly not going to be good for Juice here. This gets to 61, pretty good. And then we move on to our contract signing. Cody, Remy, Kevin, all in the ring. Each have a few words to share amongst each other as they sit at, or they stand in front of a table with contracts and in the middle of the ring. Remy says that all he's wanted in his life is to be the best professional wrestler he could be, and that metric has not been achieved until he's been to the top of the mountain, and he vows to one day get there, and he vows to get there as NWA champion. He signs the contract. Kevin Steen says that Remy has always held him back. He's always been a joke and a mockery to professional wrestling, and that Cody, on the other hand, is another entitled prick that pretends to be people's friends and gets what he wants. To get what he wants, neither deserves to be champion. Kevin Steen does not care about being champion. He says all he cares is making sure that these two pricks get what they deserve. Cody doesn't say anything. He looks at both of them, goes to the microphone, thinks he's going to say something, decides it's not worth his time, puts it down, simply signs it, and walks away. We advance the story. Everybody does great out there. The announce team is struggling to put in commentary that's worth a damn between the three of them, and got the crowd hot with a 77, but it's not over because Kevin Steen crumples towards the table as a loud metal thud echoes in the arena. Cody walked away to grab one of the chairs that was put aside for them to sit in that nobody was sitting in, folding it up, slamming it harshly across Kevin's back. He, fells him a bit, but Kevin gets up. All three end up starting to fight each other and end up in a situation where no one knows who to really strike. There's so much bad blood between Zayn and Steen. Steen's focusing on Zayn, gets him in a pop-up powerbomb. Cody, getting in on all of it. And ultimately, during the chaos, we see Steen kind of felled again by the chair. Zayn leveled out and powerbomb through a table and taken out, and Cody being the one that stands above all, looking enraged and psychotic. So we have a triple threat. We have it set up, and we know what our main event for Worldwide is going to be. Cody does not seem concerned about the triple threat. Instead, he seems more enraged by the fact that these two are here to disrupt his sort of machinations. And we'll have to see how it shakes out, but got the crowd hot. Ended the show on a good note. Think we're going to be a little bit weaker. I'm hoping that we have like a 55, but we'll see. 55. Not too bad. Overall, we increased our popularity in 53 regions. I think we must have switched over already to Fight. So we were seen in a lot of different places than we normally were. Versus just the IWTV show. We had some weaker matches. We had some booking flubs. But overall, a pretty good show. I'm pretty happy with what we had there. All right, we are back. Overall, pretty good. 277. Show was excellent. People retiring still. So many people retiring. Ricky Knight retires officially. Austin Idol retiring. Fit Finley retiring. It is very interesting how many people are retiring in this save. Of course, we also have an injury on Mustafa Ali. That's unfortunate. Thankfully, not something that we have to deal with. Blair Davenport re-signing to NXT Europe. We're very confident. I wonder her skills aren't that great, but I'm just curious I want to see what they're offering for NXT UK. That's a lot. I don't think I could offer that. I'm just curious what their rival offers were going on right there. Okay. Pretty good show. Steen Opinions says, Kimberly's a natural talker. She's worth giving promo time. Steen's giving good opinions out to people, which is nice. Worldwide, it got 82,000 viewers. I wish I remembered what we got for IWTV, but I think that's more. I'm kind of curious to see. Though, I thought we were still airing on IWTV. I wonder if we've moved over already. Yeah, it looks like we are. I wonder if we're airing on both. That ends in 6 days, so I'm curious to see if that bumped us at all for revenue. I mean, all I'm going to say is we're only halfway through this month. I swear we looked at this earlier and it was much lower. I think we had gotten a significant bump in broadcast revenue from that jump. So I think that was a good move because looking at this, we made substantially more money on there, I think. I wish I remember. We'll be able to look at it later, but I'm pretty sure we were. I think we're gonna over double. I mean, we put it this way: we've already in week 3 with one airing of that made more money than any other time in our broadcasts. So certainly that was a good move on our part. I'm happy with that, and we don't have to change anything about it. Will it give us financial stability? Probably not. But if we could cut the hemorrhaging down a little bit to give us some more time, that'd be great. Anyways, we have Codymania in 4 days, a bunch of matches set up for it. Some people with morale issues for being left off the show that we have to deal with. And we need to get rid of some of this roster. So that's going to be kind of a focus after Codymania is probably going through and just cutting down a few people that we're just not using and don't have plans for. I mean, like even like a Matt Cardona was really just there for like a one-time thing. I could just probably just let go because I don't really have plans for him. Carlito is going to stay because he's going to be a manager. Sean Hernandez I can probably get rid of. Jordan Oliver I can probably get rid of. So there's people that we can cut down on. Some of them are going to be maybe shocking removals, but I think based on just what my plans are in the short term, it's not worth keeping them around. But that is the plan. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel yet, please think about subscribing. And I will see you next time for another NWA Dynasty. Thanks for watching, guys.